fans are unforgiving. You don't have 3-4 games to drop on them in a row.
Right.
You barely got 3 or 4 games to drop in a season and still be respected in New York.
Right.
This man he's holding his position like a true Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well,
Yes,
that's what
he
I
is.
said. When you're a real champion and you're really good at what you do, you win that game. That's it. There's nothing else to be said about it. You can win the game, and you know how to win the game. Like you said, as long as there is time left, we are going to win this game. And that's what makes you different from some of these other people, like you said, that we celebrate or we get all hyped up about, and they end up being like...
And I'm telling you, as a former player, and you believe, because you start, well, Eli's going, all I got to do is block longer. I got the man back. When you start, it permeates. Don't think it just, when he has shown you that kind of stuff, that toughness, you start thinking, I'm going to block 1 second longer because I know this man.
Can make
And
it
I mean, it was quick. It wasn't like, it was 3 plays, and Victor Cruz went with the, I mean, it was,
Right.
and I'm telling
And
you.
a whole bunch of dudes that had bet on the game were like, no! No! Why now?
But RG3, he did represent. I just cannot get with that. I don't understand that hairstyle, Robert Griffith III. It does not go with 5.0 at Baylor, but okay.
No, but he's showing himself to be
But he's
an
showing
awesome
you
player.
a great player.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The forest is a treasured and magical place.
Hello, Bambi.
Hello, little prince.
Hello. Hello there.
But a wildfire can destroy its beauty for a lifetime. It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires nationwide are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do.
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
He can call me a flower if he wants to.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
This message has been brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, the National Association of State Foresters, and the Ad Council.
Come on! You could do it!
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Talking a little NFL action from yesterday. Real quickly, the Packers taking down the Rams. Jeff Fisher just cannot get that team back on track. The Packers do offensively seem to be getting back to that groove they had that brought them a Super Bowl 2 years ago. The Cardinals went up into Minnesota, taking on Adrian Peterson, who had a huge day running the ball. The Vikings, I mean, Vikings are 5-2. I mean, I mean, sometimes I don't know. I have to 5-2 Vikings going a couple of wins. We're talking about playoffs. I mean, win when you can win. I mean, don't take but 10. I always tell people, you want to try to get to the playoffs, win 10 games. You probably have a great chance. They're halfway there now, and really playing good football in a game that one of the superstars of the NFL finally came back to life. And I say that because in the first 6 games, he only had 300 yards rushing. And yesterday, Chris Johnson, the running back for the Titans, had almost 200 yards, 195 yards rushing, almost equaling his 6-game output in one game. But when you want to do that, you know what? You call up the Buffalo Bills and you say, can we play you? Because we need to get some things going again.
I don't know. For the first 6 games of the season, Chris Johnson's performance was like President Obama's in that first debate. Really, really lackluster, like he didn't even show up. This dude was invisible for the first. Right. I mean, he was like Donovan McNabb. Everybody was like, where did he go? After he got that huge contract in the offseason, he was invisible. And then yesterday, playing the Bills, he showed up and showed out. And everybody was like, wait, he still plays? You know?
Had an 80-yard touchdown run at one point, and we always knew he had the speed. And it's like you're saying, we're talking about, 2 years ago. He ran for 2,000 yards. 2,000 like Jamal Anderson said, Jamal Lewis said last week. That only a handful of guys have ever done that.
And remember when Jamal said it last week, and he said Chris Johnson, we both looked at each other like, yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
Chris Johnson. And he's a young guy. He's still only about 27,
we could not
28
believe,
years old.
Yeah, that was the same dude that hadn't showed up all season, and then yesterday, he probably listens to the show, felt a little insulted because we had been calling him a bum, and he got against some more bums and did his thing.
Did his thing against the Bills. Titans winning a tight game. On a 4th and 9 play, they scored a touchdown to Nate Washington. Like I said, yesterday's action was just watch the whole game. You can't leave. 35-34 on a 4th and goal to win the game.
And now that 35-34, the Bills lost, but a lot of times it doesn't. Their losing isn't indicative of their effort. I mean, when you score 34 points, you're doing something right.
Yes,
you're doing something.
But you spent a lot of money on a defense that still gave away 35 points. You spent like $150 million saying you revamped your defense.
I think that's the
and you
key
still
right
giving
there.
up that point. So we do have a call on the line. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, Sports Jock, Miss Tina and Big Kenny.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Sports Jock. I had a question, but I wanted to first commend you on your great job you're doing on CBS 46 Atlanta with your SEC preview show.
Thank you. That must mean you've been making some money on my bets. That's what it is. Thank you, there.
That is. Yeah, I've been taking your picks. I'm doing pretty well. But I just had a question on how you feel about Roger Goodell choosing Paul Tagliabue, the former commissioner, as a neutral arbitrator in the case involving the Saints. You were speaking earlier about their interim coach, Joe Vick, coming back and meeting them at the airport. I just wanted to know your take on that. What's your opinion?
That's a great question. I think what I would first say about that, I think Goodell, these players have really shown how much of a dictator he came into this league and tried to be. And he put a lot of things in play that not only the coaches but the players don't like, and you can't have both entities against you. These guys were willing to fight, and that's why my hat goes out to Jonathan Vilma, who said he was not just going to lay down because Commissioner Goodell said so. And the longer he drags his case out, as you're saying, Vilma, he won't go away. He won't accept an apology. He, even in his suspension, which he's losing money for not playing, he's still willing to take this to court and show Goodell for the guy that he is, that he comes in, he makes these rules, and some of this stuff is going under the bridge. Nobody's really seeing how much he fines these guys now for anything. If you watch the newspaper probably tomorrow, you're going to see 8-10 guys that are getting fined $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. That's a lot of money for just something that kind of goes along with football, but he has tried to be a dictator. He suspends people, you know, and then as Big Kenny even alluded to earlier, when it suits him, then okay, coach, yeah, we suspended you, but now you can come back and watch the game. So you're doing the things when you choose to, and I just feel like he had to reach out to the commissioner, who really, with Pete Rozelle back in the 80s, are the two commissioners who built the NFL to be what it is. Someone that he felt like people would probably be a little more fair to, and Commissioner Tagliabue, the guy he took over after he retired, to try to be the voice and maybe get this case to go away, but he just cannot seem to get Jonathan Vilma to get off his box. He you know, he flies, and even yesterday Vilma didn't play, but he is back in uniform because his suspension has been lifted after 7 games. But I hope that this shows that the commissioner not only has to represent the owners, he has to show some type of loyalty to the players. You are the commissioner of the NFL, but that doesn't just mean you work for the owners because they pay you. You have to have the same kind of voice for the people that you're putting on the field, which the players make the game. You say what you want. That's who really makes the game in any sport.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you for calling in, Mike. Roger Goodell. But Jonathan Vilma will not go away. He will not.
Roger go to hell. Instead of Roger Goodell.
And if anybody wants to give us a call like Mike just did, call us at 888-926-7562, thesportsjoc.com.
We'll be right back with more of the Sports Jock Show.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
In times like these, strangers at your door should be treated cautiously, but unwelcome strangers in your home can be your worst nightmare. Home invasion is a form of armed robbery where criminals break into homes through unlocked or open doors and windows. They even trick people into opening their doors to confront victims face to face. They can be after money and valuables, threaten personal assault, or take members of the family captive. But you can be proactive against these disturbing attacks. Learn how to protect yourself against home invasions. Never open the door to strangers. Secure your home with high-security locks and quality door and window hardware. Consider a home security system and even a dog. It's also a good idea to devise an action plan for your family in case intruders ever do enter your home. To learn more about how to keep your home safe from intruders, visit ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
When crime prevention is your life, your days don't stay quiet for long. What did I tell you? My name? McGruff the Crime Dog. I wear a trench coat.
McGruff, I need help.
That was a concerned citizen. And boy, did she sound concerned.
I'm very concerned.
What did I tell you?
Someone took out a loan in my name. They're pretending to be me and spending my money. I can't understand.
It's called identity theft, and it's growing fast. Safeguard your personal information, like your Social Security, credit card, or bank account numbers. On the phone, online, even around the house, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org. Take it from McGruff. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for Wayne Gandy. Excuse me while I whip this out. Show me that.
Live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. One thing as we went to break that I didn't get to tell the caller that called in, Mike, and when I said that my approach to Roger Goodell is look at his resume. I'm always in his period. He's had an official strike. He's had a player strike. He's had things like this Bounty Gate thing that has loomed over the league for almost a year and a half. You took over a product that made $10 billion, and you're screwing it up. Basically, you're making problems where there aren't problems. We didn't have to go through this officiating thing. I think all three of us agree on that. It was a thing of he tries to show this absolute power kind of mentality where I don't have to negotiate with you, but you do have to work with the other parts. It can't be when you're a commissioner, even like I said, you're working for the owners, but there's other parts that are equally a part of your job.
And I think sometimes what maybe people like that, or it seems that sometimes Goodell takes his eye off the fact that he works for the owners, but the owners work for the fans, basically. And as part of that collective, the fans spend a lot of money, and a lot of that money gets spent on betting. And the minute you saw who was really in charge is when it started costing people money, and he started getting those, hey, Roger, this is Tony. We need you to get the NFL refs back in there. He will toe the line for the bottom line. That's what he seems to. When it's something as high profile as Drew Brees breaking, is it Johnny Unitas' record?
It was Johnny Unitas.
He toed the line. Yeah, you can come back. I mean, because this is huge. This is huge. It's big story. It's big money. I'm gonna let you come back. So when it benefits him, like you said earlier, he's willing to be flexible a little bit.
That definitely was a PR move.
Oh, of course.
It had nothing to do with Sean Payton at all. It had to do with I can sell this to people. I'm gonna let the guy that I kicked out back in. I'm gonna show him on camera. I'm gonna show all the aspects of this, and then I'm gonna brush it under. Well, it's for Drew Brees to break a record, as though we didn't know he was going to throw a touchdown pass. That's the only offense you have. That's what their whole offense is based on, him trying to throw touchdowns passes. 2 games we didn't hit on. Tony Romo beat up on, what do you call Cam Newton?
Scam Newton.
No, what do you say? The best
the best 0-12 quarterback. I mean, how many games has he won? That's what I'm saying. This is the best winless quarterback in the NFL.
1-6 now. Cam is.
He's gonna rebound.
1-5. He's 1-5.
Rebound.
He's not a basketball. He doesn't rebound.
He's gonna rebound. He just needs to get his confidence together. I was listening to a commentator this morning, and I think he's absolutely right. He just needs to get his confidence back together. He needs to understand that as the leader of your team, you can't look like you don't know what you're doing, or they can't sound like you don't know what you're doing. And when he did that press conference, and they asked him like what was up, and he was like, "Sweetheart, if you could just give me a suggestion box and put some answers in there, you might have a better answer than I do." And that's not, that's lack of confidence. And he's talented. When you're talented, it'll meet back up. There's a lot of pressures. He came out with this high expectation. I mean, get a boy a chance.
Cam's biggest problem is Cam, though. He goes out, and I said this when he played against Atlanta. When I see him play, if I knew him personally, I would actually get in my car and drive up and talk to him and mentor him that this is a football game. It's not about that one little play so you can jump up and go greet the fans and show them you Superman, and you so caught up into that. Look at the other great ones, just like we just spoke about Eli. Eli does nothing. He throws the winning touchdown, he throws a little fist pump, and then he walks back over there with his Opie Taylor type walk, sits on the bench.
Hey, when you can't whistle, let it go. Stop it.
His whole demeanor is, I expected that out of myself. That's what I came here to do.
Right.
This is just one play in the journey to the Super Bowl, and that's all it is. When you watch Cam, he can do a little 10-yard run, and you would have thought that was the run to send the Panthers to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
It's just a mini run. You're on year 2. You know how many little runs like that you're going to have? So when I remember listening to Magic Johnson say his rookie year, He went in to play, and they won the game, and he was so excited, and he went over to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kareem was like, relax, we got like 81 more games. And I remember hearing that story, and it's so right. Like, this is a journey. This is not just this one little exciting moment. And Cam really embraces that one little moment as though it is the end all.
Well, he better, because it's not getting any better. So,
and his record is, they've lost 4 in a row. The offense really does nothing, and he is the offensive leader. They're 1-5, and basically at this point you don't see them making the playoffs.
And then after you make a bad play, quit going to the side and whining like a little girl.
Yes.
And I'll say girl because this is radio, but I want to say a
pig Latin,
right? Oh, here we go.
Beneficial.
A little eotch bay. With your crying self.
You kill me with that pig Latin. I can't.
Quit crying like a girl, Cam. Pull up
you really think that's a language?
It is. It covers it just enough.
We'll be back right after this. Talk a little college football with Hans Vance.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist? I look him in the eye and say, it can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt.
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. This past Saturday, some great college football. And for you people out there, just so you think that, look, it's War Eagle for life. You don't need to text me and see.
If you change,
it's War Eagle for life. That's the best thing about going to when you go to college, especially when you go to college and you graduate from it. You can own that college in your heart for life. So it's never going to waver. I'm not going to just all of a sudden become a Wake Forest fan. It's Auburn Tiger for life. Now,
do you think that they call in to see if you switch sides, or is that just like a suicide watch? Make sure
losing the Vanderbilt did put me on a shame watch, though.
Making sure you're not over there with a razor blade in a warm tub of water, like checking.
Hey, shame watch.
It put me on the shame watch. I was very ashamed that even when you text your boys that you used to play with, we all ashamed of what's going on down there. But we want to talk some college football. We reach out to our man, Hans Vance. Han, are you there?
Yeah, I'm out here from Los Angeles. A little early out here.
Oh, Georgia boy in L.A. How's that going? They don't have sweet tea out there, Han.
I know. I had to BYO on that sugar.
And they look at you real strange when you ask for sweetened tea. They really do.
The sugar's around here, but it's not in the tea. Let me put it that way.
What you saying? No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, it's around here in the ATL too, boys.
Don't confuse the white powdery substances. Don't confuse the white powdery substances. We want you to stay clean, Hines.
I think I might have had that mistake in my past life. But anyway, I'm out here for the Writers Digest conference in Hollywood. I'm representing. I also do some other writing, and I have a book which I'm trying to get representation for.
Okay.
So that's going really well.
What's the title of the book?
I decided to. It's a California travel memoir, actually. Back in mid-2000s, I ended up traveling California for a summer and wrote a full-length memoir about that. It's called Golden State Genius, hoping to get it out in 2013.
Oh, so you're some kid to Mitt Romney. You come from money. You travel in California writing books
for
summer.
Earn my way. I had to earn my own way. To do it. I was doing a little work, and actually the backstory, before we talk football, the backstory is I was supposed to have a summer job at a dude ranch. When I got out to the ranch, it was a marijuana farm.
Dude, you were there.
That is the backstory of the book, and from there it goes on a wild chase. But anyway,
that's what happened when they raided the marijuana farm, the wild chase.
Well, me and some of the knuckleheads ended up doing a little traveling, and it just was a fun story, so I decided to write about it.
Well, hon, my first question is,
go ahead, Wayne.
I see you in a picture with the Colorado cheerleaders.
Let me see.
Colorado, have they even won a game this year to even be having some cheerleaders?
That's talent right there, those ladies. Let me tell you, they were at the hotel, and I said, let me slide over here and do a little reporting. Really, really nice girls. They had a good point, which was, any of this conference realignment teams have had an adjustment period. Colorado was bad when they joined the Pac-12. But the ladies had a good point, which was they have a lot of following on the West Coast. So the fans are there, the money's there, and it's just a matter of, stepping up to the competition, which they're light years away from a USC.
Right.
Out here, it's looking like a two-man Heisman race, because Geno's not going to be able to get back in it after being destroyed by CK. So out here, everyone thinks Barkley's going to win it. He did only have one incompletion, which the Snugglehead dropped a pass, and it would have been a perfect day otherwise. So you can imagine what that was like in the locker room, Wayne. It was like, man, you messed up this perfect day.
No, they don't actually say man. It's something else. It's like an M and an F in there somewhere.
So, Barkley.
Oh, no.
Barkley probably slapped him. But anyway, Pac-12 is a pretty good conference this year. You've got UCLA with 2 losses, Arizona State with 2 losses. Oregon State looks for real. Stanford is probably the best 2-loss team in the country, or maybe that would be South Carolina. I'm not sure. USC is pretty powerful for a 1-loss team. Oregon is a video game quality. They just totally beat down Arizona State. That was right when I got in town. So it's a pretty good conference, I would say. Possibly the second best football conference currently.
Mm-hmm.
The Pac-12, I really think USC could contend in a bowl game better than Oregon. They're just a little more all-over solid. Oregon is just so explosive, and it kind of creates an untested unfamiliarity scenario when they get challenged. That's what we saw in the LSU game. They don't get challenged enough because they score so quickly that I just think Oregon sometimes can run into a little problem because it's the have we ever been here?
Right, and they do have USC and Oregon State left on their schedule. Oregon does, or just
correct.
Okay.
So what I think is the most offensive name in sport, Oregon State call their game the Civil War, which I don't get that.
It never made it out that far, did it, huh? I don't think they ever made it that far.
I mean, Big Kenny, they must have had some good weed when they saw that one.
Right? Oregon is in that Emerald Triangle. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's coming back to your state, the state of Georgia, Kentucky,
sure.
Georgia, Saturday night. It didn't go like most of us predicted. We thought Georgia coming off the bye would be more effective. What does Georgia do to get this defense going?
Well, we had some problems. We did have some struggles. Murray played an excellent game. Tavares King had an excellent game. Malcolm Mitchell had an excellent game. The defense only yielded 24 points. I tend to be a bigger picture person than most people who literally, on all the Georgia media and Georgia fan sites and things were like, committing suicide at halftime. I'm like, this isn't an Auburn situation here. We're winning the football game. Win the game.
Right.
Win the game. It's a road game in the SEC. We have traditionally not pushed Kentucky around and just beat Kentucky up bad. We've usually had some issues with them. We play them every year. Those kids were fighting for their coaches' jobs in a home game, and they only scored 24 points. So I have no problem whatsoever with however we win football games.
Right.
I mean, I really don't. We're back into the round robin of Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia. South Carolina is eliminated. They went ahead and got themselves eliminated by losing 2 ball games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They're really off the table as far as SEC championships. It's a 5-team race, 2-team race in the East, and the cocktail party's this weekend. So by doing very little, which is getting a win against a 1-win team and having a bye week, we have quote unquote played our way back into contention. We're number 10 in the BCS. We haven't beaten Florida in back-to-back games in 20 years. We've only beaten them 4 times in 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mammoth and monumental. The Gators just don't scare me for a number 2 team. They had 2 first downs in the first half of that game, and we're winning by like 20. They had 188 total yards of offense. So I think our defense matches up well with Florida's offense. Florida has been extremely opportunistic. Kind of like South Carolina was last year, or like Mississippi State is this year also, where the ball is just bouncing to them. They're creating turnovers, and it's due to their talent, and it's really due to the intense coaching of fellow UGA alum Will Muschamp. He's doing a hell of a job there.
Yes, he is.
I mean, second year, as you know, can be a real magical time for a coach and a program. The kids have started to buy in, but no one's really figured you out in that second year. And if you look historically, a lot of the big years team coaches have been that second year. I told you guys in the preseason that I was thinking Florida could be a contender. And we've kind of tiered out in the SEC now, where you've kind of got a second 2-loss teams where you have A&M and Carolina. Up at the top, we're looking at Miss State. No one's given them quite enough love. They're undefeated, and they're playing Bama this weekend, and they're yet to play LSU. LSU's getting a bye week and then plays Bama. So Bama's about to get tested for the first time. They're one of the least tested teams in the country currently. They haven't played anybody.
Right.
So those are coming up, and then we've got Georgia and Florida. Florida wins this game, and the East is over. It's theirs. Georgia wins, and I'm still nervous that we go out and stub our toe against a lesser opponent, because that's just the nature of where we are in the program. We're not very mature, but I think we may have more talent than Florida.
Well, I think y'all have more talent than a lot of teams. I think this is where it comes back to Coach Ricks, is that nobody really feels like he can motivate the talent to play to the level, because Georgia has had a lot of talented teams, but they never seem to produce what they are on paper. The one thing I will give Florida credit for, like you said, alluded to, when they do get the turnover, they go in the end zone. They're not one of those teams. Yeah, they don't get the ball, the interception on the 9 and kick field goals.
That's something Georgia might do.
Yeah, and that's how you lose games. A lot of people don't realize that it's not just that you get the turnover. Can you make it into a touchdown instead of kicking field goals? It should be a great game. 2 against number 10. It just always, week in and week out, especially when it hits October, it just validates why the SEC is the premier conference, because it's always 2 top 10 teams playing each other.
It really is. I mean, again, going back to that Pac-12 and looking at some of the other conferences, we've got a huge matchup this week in the ACC featuring the Duke Blue Devils and Florida State, who's already been, discredited and gets discredited every year.
Well,
go ahead, sir.
Well, Hans, we have to go right now. We're going to let you get back to that. What time is it out there? 8:20?
Yeah, I'm about to hit the coffee house, man. I was in Venice Beach partying yesterday with some friends.
You're going to get your tan?
I got to get some more of this coffee in me, Lady T.
Okay, I'm gonna hang out with you.
Don't be out there getting no Botox or nothing. Leave the Botox alone, and we'll talk to you next week, Hans.
Go visit the guys at the ranch.
Hans Vance, BigHairy.blog.com.
I look forward to it. Let's catch up next week, man.
Okay, we'll be back right after this.
All right, bye.
Well, they have. Well, that's what I'm saying. In Barry Bonds' case and Lance, none of the tests came back to say I did.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Go Caleb! Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true. I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The forest is a treasured and magical place.
Hello, Bambi. Hello, little prince. Hello. Hello there.
But a wildfire can destroy its beauty for a lifetime. It's always wildfire season somewhere in America. Nearly 9 out of 10 wildfires nationwide are caused by the carelessness of humans and could be prevented. But together, we can make a difference.
Watch what I can do.
Help protect the home of our forest friends.
He can call me a flower if he wants to.
To find out more, log on to SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
This message has been brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, the National Association of State Foresters, and the Ad Council.
Come on! You could do it!
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
To the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy, sitting here with my co-host Lady T and Big Kenny.
Yeah. What's up, Sports Jock?
Good morning.
Lance Edward Armstrong. Lance Edward Armstrong.
Arm wrong?
The man can't just catch a break. He can't catch a break. This week, for most of us who live in the United States and probably across the world, you can't even quantify this man as just a states guy, considered the greatest cyclist at one point. Has been once again removed from something. They're trying to basically make Lance like he never existed in the world of cycling. Nike now, who probably was his biggest contributor, has removed their endorsement of him. So that makes Nike, Trek, Radio Shack, Anheuser-Busch. He basically has no more sponsorship. We have talked about this, and this is due to the doping that basically allegedly nobody has really ever proven Lance to do all this doping. He a couple of weeks ago quit his just basically gave up, said it was just too much. It's been too long. People have been trying to get after him for too long. He's tired. So now his sponsorships have left him. But to you two, I really brought this up from the standpoint of, is it better just to admit to something? When you look at some of the recent cases, you have Lance Armstrong, Michael Vick with the dogs. You have A-Rod, who a couple of years ago admitted that he used steroids. You go back even to Pete Rose.
Charlie Hustle.
So I guess what I want to ask you to, involving this case, because most people feel like if Lance just admits his wrongdoing, that somebody will stitch him up and stop the bleeding. Do you believe that to be true, Big Kenny?
Well, with the latest breaking news on Lance Armstrong this morning, it was reported that they've stripped him of his 7 yellow jerseys from the Tour de France. So now not only has he lost all of his sponsorships, but those things that made him the standout greatest cyclist in history has been taken from him. And there is a situation. When you do wrong, I think that you should admit it. There are human errors, there are mistakes, there are lapses in judgment, but this is a character question. You know from the moment that they approach you and ask you, hey, have you been doping, if you've been doping or not. Maybe if he had said in the initial inquiry, hey, man, look, I got something we need to rap about, it may have gone a little bit smoother. I don't think that they would have forgiven him.
So you're saying it's too late now?
Yeah, it's kind of late now after you've gone like, I didn't do it. But here it is. Okay, I kind of did it. So, I mean, you know, if you get caught with your pants down, stand there naked, Lance.
Because this has made it to court. This is just not like this was, we're hearing this in the Supreme Court that he used dope.
I will say this, Sports Jock. There is, what you alluded to earlier, there has been no definitive proof other than eyewitness accounts and such things that says that he did it. They said that there's insurmountable evidence that he did, none of which is definitive. There are plenty of people right now incarcerated or living under the auspice of suspicion who have never committed any crimes.
Or allegedly haven't committed.
Well, I mean, think of all of the people that are released from jail daily,
sure, and think
because they never did anything, and someone has to prove after they've been in there 10 or 15 or 25, 35 years that they were actually innocent. And so for Lance to say I didn't do it and still be found guilty, there's a
he goes
part
down,
of me there's part of me that goes, maybe maybe they were just hating on him.
He goes down with like a Barry Bonds. Nobody's ever proven that Barry Bonds did anything. It's just a whole bunch of.
It's just that his head grew like 8 hat sizes, and he went from 200 pounds to 295 pounds of muscle.
I haven't even said a word, so let me just get my piece in. At the end of the day, I think that it's hard for me to conceive of all the hard work that I know this man has put into this and into his foundation, and how he's changed the sport, the game, the belief, cancer, and all that. It's very hard for me to believe that he would have been doping to the tune of what that latest report that came out, especially the guy I read in Time magazine, this whole article about the guy who's on the witch hunt behind him. His name escapes me. But at the end of the day, I don't want to believe it. But for all intents and purposes, we know that sports is loaded with doping, and just about 80% of the people probably do it, especially in baseball. The number's probably even higher. So when you reach extreme heights like Barry Bonds has, and even Lance Armstrong have, it's not inconceivable that it's probably true. And just, and once you start lying, the lie gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And once the control starts to get bigger and bigger and the money gets bigger and bigger, it all starts to get outrageous. So could Lance Armstrong have been a part of this entire ordeal and been the front runner of saying who's going to be in, who's not, who's going to make it? Sure, he can. And right now him saying I'm tired just is a scapegoat.
But we do live in a country where you're actually supposed to prove I did something,
absolutely,
and not speculate. I can sit here and you and Big Kenny can go behind that door and I can come back, well, they must have been doing something back there.
But what if you don't test?
I don't know what y'all were doing.
Unless you test. If you don't test, how do you prove?
That's what I'm saying. In Barry Bonds' case and Lance, none of the tests came back to say I did anything.
Because Kenny's peeing in my cup. Who's cup are you
see,
peeing?
now you're trying to, you're mad
because
I'm getting the win.
Trust me, if I peed in your cup, we all going down. We getting federal charges if I pee in your cup.
Guilty by association.
Yeah,
come on, that's part of the cheating.
We doing life if I pee in your cup.
With more of the Sports Jock Show after this.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Sassy! Sassy!
This week's episode, Rattlesnake at the Pond.
Oh, Johnny, skipping rocks at the pond sure is fun. Hey, look, a moving stick. That ain't a stick. That's a rattlesnake. Sassy! Sassy! We're in danger! Good idea, Sassy! Go get Mr. Gunderson! You will in a second, but first you'd like to tell us something we may not know about animal shelters in the United States? It's getting close, Sassy! Approximately 8 million pets enter shelters each year? The majority of which are in shelters because of owner-related issues that the animals have no control over? Sassy the rattlesnake! Save us, Sassy! What, Sassy? You wish you were videotaping this? Sassy!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Center Court. On sports, news, gossip, blah, 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 blah.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. As you can tell by the pink that the players are wearing in the NFL this month, it is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The NFL has done a great job over the years of supporting this month to the point that it's almost too much pink running around on the football field. It started with just some pink towels, and now it's shoes and gloves and chin straps and everything else out there. But it definitely lets you know that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I was able to support this even in my career when I would do a couple of tailgates. It is something that I'm quite sure that most Americans have some kind of line to this disease, whether it's a mother, a sister, an aunt, or a best friend. I happen to have a very good friend who is a fellow War Eagle. My good friend Yolanda Jackson is here in the studio to help us talk about breast cancer, something that I know personally is near and dear to her. And I wanted to bring someone not just that has touched themselves, but has been touched basically through her whole family in a way that most of us cannot even imagine. So welcome to the show, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for coming in. Looking beautiful over there, Big Kenny.
Oh, chocolate and everything. Oh, look at she look like, oh, she's so chocolate. You know, yeah, you know.
Too kind.
Well, Yolanda, first of all, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
I know that's hard to say nowadays. People want you to put your head down, but
you know what? No matter if
as soon as the season's over, I'm gonna put my T-shirt back on because the season is over, so I can.
Y'all start from scratch.
We start from everybody's
well,
0-0.
I wear mine right now because win, lose, or draw, I roll with the Tigers. So okay,
see there, Big Kenny is forever, man.
Hey, I mean, you know, I went to Southern Miss. I've been dealing with it for a while. I've been dealing with it, learning to hold my head up for a long time. Sports job.
Well, Yolanda, I wanted you to come on because I don't have this disease. I just found out about a month ago. One of my aunts had breast cancer. Up until that point, I didn't have a direct family member of my knowledge that had breast cancer, but I know this is something that you have been through in your own life and in your personal life through your family. Yes. You plus 2 of your sisters. Is that correct?
Well, actually, there was myself and my younger sister. My oldest sister did not have the disease. She was never diagnosed with cancer. She just went through the surgeries because we did some, genetic testing, which we found out through that testing that she and I both were positive for the BRCA1 gene, which is a cancer gene. So they told her pretty much it's not if you get it, but when. And
this something you found out in, is this the age that you found out this? Is this the common age, or is this more something that happens to women older? That's why I put you in the seat of Lady T. She would know, but I know me and Big Kenny don't have the direct facts. I can't really speak for Big Kenny, but I know I don't know the real age where this is something that a woman really needs to pay attention to.
Well, actually, they usually don't start giving you the mammograms until age 40. You get your first baseline mammogram at age 40. I was actually 34. My younger sister was actually 33 at the time when we were diagnosed. So had we waited, of course, the outcome probably would not have been good.
And what happens, I guess, like anything, you want to go back to the beginning. When you take the test, if you can just walk us through that, how are those moments waiting around to see what the doctor says? I know how it is. All I can, as far as myself, is some injury, but I knew I was hurt. It's not like when the doctor came in and said, well, Wayne, you tore your ACL. I was like, whoa, really? I kind of felt the pain. This is something that you don't even know necessarily is going on in your body.
That's absolutely right. Actually, my sister and I both were diagnosed. Well, she actually found a lump in her breast. And she was diagnosed. I was diagnosed exactly 90 days after she was diagnosed. And I discovered my cancer through just getting my annual gynecological exam. And my doctor discovered it then and, went from there. We started off with getting a mammogram. They wanted to, and then they did an ultrasound because, like I said, at the time, if you're not the age 40, which is supposed to be the baseline where you get your baseline, a lot of times the insurance company doesn't want to pay for it unless there is a problem or if your doctor suspects that there's a problem. So mine was discovered. They discovered a large mass in my right breast, and they wanted to get further to look at it a little bit further, and that's when they did the ultrasound and the mammogram, and it was discovered. The doctor then wanted to go through and have a biopsy. So
the question I want to ask is, and I've known people my entire life. I had a neighbor growing up. I've got family members, classmates who have been through this, and I guess it's from the point of vanity. I know from a personal experience, I went through a situation where I had Bell's palsy. And for about 30 days or so, one side of my face was paralyzed. And as a comedian and someone who is on television, I was very concerned about the way that I looked. Many women, a lot of their esteem is in how they look, how they fill out their shirts, and a great deal of them find it very difficult to get past just the physical aspect or the aesthetic aspect of something like breast cancer, aside from the fact that it's life-threatening and has taken many lives. How did you deal with those ramifications?
Actually, I didn't. The fact of losing my hair through chemo, I was never worried about that. The fact that I was without my right breast for about 8 months, that didn't really bother me because, of course, they gave me a prosthetic, to put in my shirts and stuff, which was a hassle to me. Right. Because I would leave and I'd go home to visit Auburn on the weekend. I'd leave and leave it there. Right. And so that wasn't a big.
But that was an interesting morning. Like, I told you she came by, dude. I got some proof right here.
My sister. It was actually funny. I had gone home one weekend, and my sister called me. I was almost, back in Birmingham, and my sister called me. She was like, "Your nephew wants to talk to you," and I was like, "What?" And she's laughing. And I'm saying, okay, put him on the phone. And he goes, Auntie Londa, you left your breast on my mama's sofa. So
Yeah, that's shocking. I'm quite sure.
A dude trying to explain that, baby, I don't know where it came from.
I didn't know they were detachable. Probably what the little boy was thinking. But we're going to go to break, and we come back. We have Miss Yolanda Jackson here, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
Questions, comments, observations, 888-926-7562, thesportsjoc.com.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas? 1 in 300 million. The odds of the daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records? 1 in 800,000. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We are addressing the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We decided to bring in someone that this has truly affected in her own life and in her family's life, Miss Yolanda Jackson. She is, one thing, Yolanda, as we go on, Big Kenny hit on a big point. Which was more traumatic, the removal of your breast or losing your hair, waking up and seeing yourself without hair?
Losing my hair was not a big deal to me. My only thing was,
and your hair is beautiful right now.
Thank you.
I must say, I have to say that right
Thank you.
now. Now, I don't know if that's a wig, and I just can't tell, but it looks natural.
It is natural.
No.
It's natural. Yeah, losing my hair was not a big deal. In fact, I was actually on a business trip. I was working, had just taken a new job, and I was working, and I was out of town when my hair actually started to fall out. And they kind of had prepared me for it. But of course, I forgot that, you know, when I got up that morning getting ready and I was brushing my hair and it was coming out. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know, and I kind of realized, it dawned on me that, you know, it must be starting. So actually, I finished the business trip, came home, and my very good friend, Angelia, was coming to visit me that weekend. And I told her, I said, my hair started to fall out. And she was like, oh, really? I'm coming to Birmingham as soon as I get there. And she came up, and I knew it would just make her day to cut her hair. I mean, to cut my hair. And she did. So I saved it until she got there that afternoon, and she cut the hair. And I told her, I said, well, why don't you cut your hair with me? Oh, no, I can't do that. But we can go look for some cute scarves and hats. So that's what we did. We made it a shopping trip and went to go buy scarves and hats, and that was it. It wasn't a big deal about losing the hair. Has this,
going through this, has this made you an advocate of any certain cancer awareness group? Are you part of any specific group?
I am. I was participating in a group in Birmingham called Sister Survivor, and basically what we do is, of course, we do the fundraisers for, you know, breast cancer patients, because in Birmingham we have people that come from all over to get the treatments there, and a lot of times people don't have, you know, the money or the funds to get back and forth to get their treatments, or they need, you know, specific items. So, you know, being a part of that group was a good experience. And I still do things right now through my clinic, because I'm currently still taking treatments. I get treatments every 3 months, and so I do things a lot with the clinic there.
Did you have any real, like, low point? I know you just said you still go through treatments in this journey. what was your lowest point? What, you know, did anything bring on that low point where you just, why me? You know how people go through things, why me?
No, I don't think I ever went through that. You know, I've never been sick a day in my life, so, you know, I had never gone to the hospital for anything or anything like that. So, I never questioned why me. You know, I just said, okay, if I've got to do this, then let me try and do it the best that I can, you know, do it and be hopefully an inspiration to somebody else and can help somebody else. Because, you know, it's very traumatic when they come in and tell you, okay, you know, your chances of survival don't look that great, you know.
Right. And I wanted to ask you, to piggyback off what Wayne was saying, a lot of people have that why me. You've exuded such courage and dignity in just sitting here and explaining what you've been going through. Was there ever a time that you had to be strong for those around you? Was there any time your family or friends got more down than you actually were and seemed to be a little bit more concerned? Yes, my dad especially. I would a lot of times have to put on a strong face when I was around him, because he really couldn't take it. You know, first going with my younger sister, you know, going through the cancer, and then here I am 90 days later, you know, me going through it. And my situation was a little bit differently because I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and at the time I didn't really know what that meant. And, you know, in fact, I asked my doctor, she said, okay, you know, I said, stage 3, you know, what does that mean? And she said, well, there are only 4 stages. And I'm like, and I'm already at 3? Right. You know, so yeah, for my dad, it was a little bit harder. Right. Mm-hmm.
And where, I know your sister has a daughter, correct?
Yes.
Have y'all had a conversation with the young girls in your family?
Yes, they are, you know, they're always around us, so we talk openly and freely about it all the time. So they're very aware, and they, you know, the doctors have spoken with them as well, saying that they'll probably have to start getting tested when they're in their early 20s, because what we learned through my situation and my younger sister's situation is that we, like I said, are predisposed to cancer genetically, and so so we learned that, you know, we have to go through and be a little bit more aware. My mother actually died at age 39, and when we started the testing at UAB, we learned that she had breast cancer that metastasized to her brain. So she died at 39 years old, which was very young.
Wow, yeah, it is young. Well, we thank you for coming on the show and opening up about something that's so personal, that you're still, as you say, are still getting treatment from, and the courage that you are showing to even do that on this kind of stage. We should all take strength from, because a lot of people, things go on in their lives like this, and they keep it to themselves. But like you said, there's a voice for you to help others through your experience. So thank you once again for coming in, and a big War Eagle. War Eagle. I see your heart bleeds like mine.
Yes, it does.
That we're gonna come back one day.
One day.
But
and we will. We always do.
But it seems like a long way from that national championship trophy we held up less than 2 years ago. Yeah. National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Find some pink. I couldn't find none in a 2XX, so I couldn't find it. But we'll be back with more of the Sports Talk Show after this.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Oh!
You are round MVP.
Yeah, man. Yo, Drew, I finally got round MVP. Round MVP.
No way. That was some ownage. It's a good thing you got me as your wingman.
Right. You mean when you threw that flash grenade at me?
Whatever, man. Huge round. Seriously, great stuff.
Finally earning round MVP takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes.
All right, class. I'm going to pass back your tests. And a high score goes to Brian.
Oh, yeah! High score, baby!
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you have the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help you get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
With a dream, my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank Miss Yolanda Jackson for coming in and discussing breast cancer with us. Lady T, I know you had a chance to listen in on that. So before we're going to do a little behind the glass here in a second. Before we get to that, do you have any personal story or any connection to breast cancer that moved you?
Not any that moved me, but I also lost my breast, but it was to breastfeeding. And so there's a lot of things in common with things like that. No, you know what?
Speaking of breastfeeding.
and if you were breastfeeding, those were just fun size snacks.
You throw my whole, speaking of breastfeeding, have you heard about the lady breastfeeding the dog?
Oh, no, I have not. I didn't know dogs could suck. I guess they could.
She has a pug. And
no.
She breastfeeds the pug. She's been doing it for like 2 years.
That's nasty.
There was a complication that she had where she couldn't breastfeed her daughters when they were born. They're like 8 or 9 now. But for the last 2 years, she's been letting the dog breastfeed little pug, but they say the pug is like 2 or 3 years old. So in dog years, what's that, like 30?
Yeah, straight up.
Something like that. And
absolutely.
She's sitting there saying, well, it tickles when he latches on, but it's being able to be done in a way that it doesn't bite. It's just, you know.
First of all,
look at Big Ken. You the one said breastfeeding, which triggered something else.
Listen, man.
I got the story right here. Her name is Terry Graham. She's Terry Graham. Yeah, Terry.
From where?
The UK.
Okay, maybe that explains it. I just want to know how you even discover
that you can breastfeed
a dog. I mean, what kind of experimentation is going on in your house?
Right.
That you just, you know what? Maybe I'll just. I mean, how did she get to that?
The pug name is Spider. That's the pug's name.
Of course,
Spider. She has done this in front of the daughters. And
she done ruined those daughters.
She says that it gives her it fulfills her maternal desire. Is there a maternal desire when you're a woman to breastfeed something?
Oh, and I always thought
no.
It's not. It's
it's a necessary evil.
The thing that I thought was the best thing about the breastfeeding was just that it is naturally the best thing for your baby, and so that is the reason why I chose it. It had nothing to do with anything else. If they had something otherwise, then I would have gone with that. But technically, it is the best way to provide nutrients for your child is your own breast milk. But at the end of the day, that reminds me of like Taboo. You know that show that comes on Taboo, and they have made life-like dolls for people who can't have babies, and these people want to fulfill their maternal instincts, and they actually carry and treat and use these dolls like they're real people. And I think it gets crazy. It gets crazy.
I think what I'm wondering is I've got 2 children, both of whom were nursed, and isn't that only for a certain time that you're even able to produce milk? She's got 9-year-old
No, you can produce
kids.
it as long as somebody's sucking. You can produce.
Well, she says
it
that
will continue to produce.
She says that something happened where the dog had a taste for it because she dropped the pump.
First of all,
and some of it fell on the floor.
Some of that ought to be investigated.
Right
someone
now, period.
Someone needs to investigate
call
her.
Peter. What is Peter's number? I'm gonna Google it now.
And
Where
Lady
is she?
T, you were talking about people with life-like dolls that they carry around. At least they have life-like dolls. In college, I waited tables, and there was a couple that used to come all the time. And this one lady had lost a child, I think at birth, and she had a stuffed rabbit, like one of those gun type, dressed up, and she would ask for a plate for the rabbit, and she would put food on the rabbit's plate, and then she would nibble it and go, "Ooh, look, she's eating all of her food today." And I would always think, like, somebody sedate this woman. But
and I'm betting this woman is single.
Got to be.
Of course.
You got to be.
I can't go after a dog.
You can't go after a dog. I just don't, again, like Kenny said, I don't know how you got to the point where you figured out.
What's that called? Bestiality or something like that?
Absolutely.
You start messing
with, and it's terrible.
Animals. Is that what it is? Animals.
I mean, I really fall into
you brought up the breastfeeding. We were on a whole nother subject, and you brought up breastfeeding.
I can't
and
believe
you were right there.
I'm waiting on you.
And the most bizarre thing in all of this is not only does she do it, but she's willing to share that information with the world.
Because it's important.
I mean, if I were somebody that,
if
I had a dog suckling on me, I'd probably keep that to myself.
Sure. Sports Jack, but I'm going to have to censor your computer. I'm going to have to limit your website use because these stories you're coming up with, I don't know where you're finding them, but we're going to have to limit you.
But on the positive side, if she'll let a dog breastfeed, she'll let a guy do pretty much anything else. She'll let a guy just run wild with it.
I wonder what the cat gets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we did say we'd do a little behind the glass, and if I don't get one question in, then the bad producer will get that little
and
I just sucked on a lemon.
He'll get his Cam Newton face on.
And sit over there. And so let's get at least one behind the glass question in real quick. We're going to let the bad producer go so we can definitely get his question in. Y'all ready over there?
Can we get an understanding of the onside kick and when does it occur?
The onside kick can actually occur at any point in a game. I think even, 2-3 years ago, the Saints onside kick right after halftime as a trick play. It is usually used in a desperation when the team needs the ball back at the end of the game. They may be down 4 or 5 or whatever, and they need the ball. Oh, they can be down big, and the coach just still wants to try to act like he's going to come back and win. So don't even let me say that.
Just one of those confusing moments. Why did he do that?
But it is in a way to try to retrieve the ball. Usually in a desperate situation where you're trying to get the ball so you can try to score faster and come back.
All right, Sports Truck Mike, question has to do with the graphics that they use in NFL. I
Yes.
noticed that they're getting fancier and more information. When do they start doing that, and why do they do it?
The NFL, when they invited women to start watching football because they started putting the first down marker, because like most men, when you introduce a woman to football, she tries to figure out, well, how do they get a first down? And you try to explain, well, you got to get 10 yards. Well, how would they know what the 10 yards at? And it's like, well, the yard marker. Well, what's a yard marker? So to help men out, I think the NFL, they put that yellow line on the
How
screen.
do you know who to root for? Both teams have birds on the helmet.
So they put that line to kind of show you where the team.
I would love to tell y'all that this wasn't true, but it is so true. It is exactly how it goes. Y'all hit the nail on the head on this one.
So we'll be right back with more of the Sports Talk Show right after this.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Psst. Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, Now, kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Why so serious? And we hold the world ransom for Wayne Gandy. Excuse me while I whip this out. Show me that.
Live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Did y'all have another question over there behind the glass, or was that it? Anything else I need to know? And y'all need to speak up. I just got a text that said y'all are speaking like
girls.
Minnie Mouse over there.
Okay, the next question that we do have for you.
And he whispers. The next question. Sports Jock.
Can you tell us if Larry Fitzgerald is the real deal?
Yeah, the $100 million they have paid him, the 9 Pro Bowls, all the Cardinal records, and that I'm not offended by his braids probably makes him official, because usually I can find something wrong with you, but he's been a model citizen in a day and era where the receiver usually walks around with a lollipop pacifier in their mouth. He goes out, does his job, great receiver. Definitely will end up in the Hall of Fame. Who came up with that question? Because I figured the good producer don't even know who Larry Fitzgerald is.
All right. He's thinking he's a Broadway dancer.
Yeah, he's over there with me with why is the line there?
Do you think?
No. I just had one last question.
Well, just pegging back on that.
Now all of a sudden he lied.
Yeah, this wasn't a back and forth conversation.
Go ahead on. What's the end of it?
You think he has the opportunity to surpass Jerry Rice
as the greatest of all time?
Yes, sir.
No. Jerry, it's a one-time deal. Jerry, longevity, there was nothing Jerry Rice couldn't do. He took the ball. He can go 80. He can get you the tough 2 yards. He's the standard in which everybody else at the receiving. Jerry Rice could possibly be the greatest football player, because when you ask people, you know how you do, who's your greatest all-time team? And they pick the 2 receivers. One of those 2 receivers is Jerry Rice. The other one might be somebody else. At other positions is negotiable. I might like Joe Montana, Big Kenny, might like Dan Marino, but both of us probably have Jerry Rice in our receiving corps. So I think that Jerry Rice has like 4 rings. I don't think Larry Fitzgerald has nothing. So he doesn't just have the records. He has the rings to go along with it as well. So good second question.
Straight out of Chitlin Switch, Mississippi.
Chitlin Switch.
That's funny.
Chitlin Switch. Have I told y'all a story this show yet?
Other than the horrid dog breastfeeding story?
Oh, no. Yeah, I did tell you about the dog breastfeeding.
Okay.
That didn't count. We can't just cross story off the list after the dog breastfeeding thing. Well, there's more. Hold on, let me.
I do have some more.
Wait a second, let me put my seatbelt on, Sports Jock.
So y'all don't want me.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't need another story to show that.
Yeah,
was enough.
Please. I'm strapped in now. Let's go.
No, I'm gonna just tell you. This is a PSA. I like to give y'all PSAs.
Okay.
For you people who like to use tanning oil, sunscreen, banana boat sunscreen. I don't use it, but they have recalled like 500,000 bottles because people were putting it on, walking close to a fire, and catching on fire. So
and look at Lady T all nervous looking now, like, uh-oh.
I just like to let y'all know For all of you people out, Lady T.
I don't mess with that stuff.
She's thinking right now, I got a case of that stuff next to a sun lamp at the house. And my whole house may be on fire.
I just went up right now.
They have recalled over 500,000 bottles. That's a lot of bottles out there.
It's a lot. But they're all at Walmart, though.
Pulling
they could have got it from
23 varieties, so not just a particular type. They have just basically open flame and sunscreen
and now
combustible.
I would be remiss as a comedian if I did not point out the comedy gold in watching someone just sitting around and all of a sudden
snatch on fire.
They combust. Like you know, it's a nice evening or a nice afternoon. We got a little bonfire or we grilling out. I got my sunscreen on because we in the backyard, and all of a sudden the burgers and Dad are both done. Well done.
It takes, cooking s'mores
and
to a whole nother level.
Did y'all hear about the guy that over here in Southwest Atlanta, they found a guy on fire in a wheelchair? Y'all heard that they're trying to ID? Y'all don't.
I heard it.
Is it me or is it like?
I think it was one of those electric wheelchairs. He was trying to burn rubber, and it just.
the people,
we have hit it all.
The neighbors said they were
low.
No, the neighbors said they were hearing him yell from the wheelchair. He was on fire in the wheel. I don't know if he was with somebody. But that's just.
This is the second horrid wheelchair story you've told. The first one was when the police officer shot up the man in the wheelchair because.
Down in Dallas.
Yeah, because said he had a gun and he didn't, and then now somebody's catching on fire in wheelchair. Okay. Dogs are breastfeeding.
Hey, what it was, he was sitting in that wheelchair, tanning himself. He decided to light a cigarette, and boom.
Yeah.
So it went along with the banana boat.
It was banana boat. That's
and you said they sell this stuff where?
Walmart for sure.
Everywhere.
Oh, so this is a common product.
Oh yeah, banana boat is like the leading.
It's in
skincare.
Walmart is probably their biggest.
What's the other one? That's the Tropicana or something like that, right? Yeah. Tropical or something. That's the one I know. I don't really know.
It's old Greece. Tropicana looks like old Greece.
Well,
Tropicana's a juice.
No, the
tropical.
I just
Hawaiian tropic.
Yeah, they used to have a tropic. Yeah, I knew it was something because I went to a
bikini contest
back in Pittsburgh.
I knew it was going to come to me.
2001. Me and Jerome Betty, but that's another story for another day. We'll be back.
It was some fired in too, right?
With the Sports Jock Show right after this.
Slay Smoke.
Fire. Say so loud. Fire.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Psst. Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.
The bullpen. Stick around to find out what's coming up next with the legendary Wayne Gandy.
Watches go chain player, $100,000 champagne player. Yeah, my money insane player. Yeah, I'm making it rain player. But I was just on a plane player, buying gear, flying here. It ain't what you heard, it's my time of year.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. We've reached the bullpen, and we got our favorite man on the line. We ready? Y'all, you got the seatbelts on?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready. Do we have to strap in?
Y'all ready? Be ready now. We about to go real fast. We got our man Doug Fireball Turnbull on the line. Fireball, are you there?
Man, it's good to be back after a while. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. First of all, did you hear my PSA about the banana boat sunscreen? Because I know you probably got a couple.
I heard that if you it can catch fire now before it dries or something like that. Is that the latest thing?
Yeah, that's the latest thing.
Man, that's something I'm gonna want to be staying away from for sure.
Yeah, while you down there near them pits anyway.
Down there by them fast cars.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get the skin cancer. Don't worry about it.
Well, Fireball, I had to get you on the line because soon as the Fox deal came out last week, you came to mind. NASCAR signing an 8-year, $2.4 billion deal with Fox.
That's with a B.
To show that is with a
I'm leaving
B.
right. I'm going to NASCAR right now.
Extension with Fox Sports to show the Daytona 500, excuse me, and like a third of the races, just a third for $2.4 billion.
Would it be?
Well, yeah, they've already had a deal in place since they signed their last TV deal before the 2007 season, where Fox used to show half the races, 18 a year, and then they kind of trimmed back to 13 a year. And so since 2007, we've had TNT that shows 6 races in the middle of the season after Fox is done, and then ESPN takes over the last, approximately 15 races or so. So that's kind of how it's broken down, and it's going to be interesting to see who else emerges now as will ESPN and TNT become part of that, or will NBC with its new NBC Sports Network that it bought, when it took over Versus, will NBC be a player, or will CBS? I think NASCAR is going to go around and try to court and just get the most money, and quite frankly, with how the TV ratings have been in the last few years, I'm surprised they were able to get so much money for it, but Fox, I think, has been a brand with NASCAR since 2001. A lot of people, they think NASCAR, they think Fox. And so this is a big deal for them. And what's going to be interesting is Fox owns the Speed Channel, and the Speed Channel is about to turn into Fox, to another Fox Sports channel that will not be exclusively racing. So it'll be interesting to see how much NASCAR programming is left after that. Part of this deal did indicate that this deal will allow them to stream online and be able to watch races and race content online. So that's something new.
Yeah, they say the total package, at least right now, through all their networks, NASCAR makes about almost $600 million a year through their TV packages, which is a lot of money. NASCAR also, before we talk about Kansas Speedway, NASCAR has 2 new rules that are coming out in 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're going to change how the qualifying is done in the Sprint Cup Series. From 2005 until this season, they've locked in the top 35 teams in points. Now, that's not drivers, that's teams, how their cars are scored in what's called owner's points. And that means that the top 35 in the points are guaranteed to make each race, essentially. And then they determine the next 8 positions by the fastest 7 qualifiers, and then the most recent past champion who's not already locked into the field, who hasn't used that past champion's provisional a certain number of times. What is going to be next season, and I actually like this new system, is the top 36 fastest cars in qualifying, which is the day or two before the race, where they make two laps, they're as fast as they can around the track to determine, the order of the race. The top 36 make the race, and then the next 6 or 7 spots are guaranteed on speed with the possible past champions provisional after that. And so what that means is that only 6 drivers technically are guaranteed to make that race entering qualifying. So you don't have any business of some of the teams way back in points, you know, or locked into points and can start in part. They just the reason that they don't have this is because they're changing this, I think, is number one, it hasn't been super popular, and really number two, there haven't been really 35 quality teams to lock into the top 35 in points, and so they're trying to make it a little more exclusive and make it easier maybe for some other teams that are startup teams to try to break in and win races. And the other rule they've changed is the Nationwide Series, which has a lot of teams that don't have money. A lot of teams at Starting Park where they just run a few laps and collect last place money. They're trimming its field now from 43.
Hold on, Fireball. Hold on 1 second. You saying that I can get a car and come in last and get some money? That sounds like me and you need to do a little business, bro.
If you qualify for the race, if you're able to qualify for the race,
oh, okay.
You want to put a driver in there and qualify for the race? Yeah, you could sign up and finish last place or finish 37th or whatever and collect 37th place money. And right now there's about 6 or 7 teams that do it every single week in the Sprint Cup Series. There's over 10 teams that do it in the Nationwide Series, and there's a large chunk that do it in the next series down, the Campbell World Truck Series too.
So just to be clear, what's 37th place money look like, Fireball?
Well, it depends on the race, but you know you're getting at least several $1,000s. You know, whereas the winner will get somewhere in the 6 digits in the Sprint Cup Series, not in the other series. In the Sprint Cup Series, the winner's check, which is divided up between the driver and the team, takes, let's just say, $100,000. Or in the Daytona 500, it's $1 million. In the Daytona 500, if you make it into the race, you know, you finish last, you still make 6 figures, and then in the other races, you make $10,000 or $3,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's why I said, man, you need to get a car. And,
I'm saying it doesn't have to be an actual stock car, because you could use my family ride if you want to.
Yeah, there might be a few rules there.
Oh, okay.
Well, Fireball, one of the biggest stars has been hurt. Can you update us on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s health?
There's a local twist to this, guys. As we speak, in fact, I'm pretty sure Dale Earnhardt Jr., who sustained a concussion in a test crash at Kansas Speedway, which is the track they raced at yesterday, by the way. He sustained a test crash 6 weeks ago, got a concussion there, then got roughed up again in the Talladega wreck just 6 weeks later, the crash 2 weeks ago. So, sorry, it was 8 weeks total that we're talking about here. So he's had 2 concussions. That he better go to the doctor just because, which is kind of unprecedented. Drivers don't usually go to the doctor for concussions. That doctor said, hey, you don't need to race right now until you're healed up. So he sat out the last 2 races. He's got tests and everything, and he is testing a race car as we speak in Jefferson, Georgia, about an hour north of Atlanta at Gresham Motorsports Park, where I'm one of the announcers, actually. And if he does well in that test, he's going to go to the doctor tomorrow, and if they say he's okay, he'll be able to race to Martinsville this weekend.
And I know when he was at Talladega 2 weeks ago, and they had that big 24-25 car pileup, he was one of the first people that I think his words were like, if this was how racing was going to be, he would retire. He was having a problem with the restrictor plate. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, because plate racing, and we've talked about it before, bunches up all of the cars, so they're running virtually the same speed, and they're having to push into each other to go past each other, essentially. And so you have this giant pack of cars. It's kind of like play a 52-car pickup, really, you know, except you have 43 race cars. And, you know, what they do is they kind of ride around, and it's very tense, but on the last lap, they go just absolutely nuts. And if one person makes one bad move, it can wipe out half the field, and that's exactly what happened. Tony Stewart was blocking, trying to win the race, and he got tagged and flipped over, and Dale Jr. got caught up in that wreck. And 10 of the 12 playoff drivers in NASCAR, 10 of the 12 chase drivers got some sort of damage or some sort of contact in that crash. So that was pretty weird.
Why does NASCAR allow that kind of racing to continue?
They make it happen because those tracks, the Daytona and Talladega, are so big and so fast. If the cars were unrestricted, they would be running laps close to 230 miles an hour as opposed to 180, 190. And if those cars got airborne, they could potentially go into the stands. And that almost happened, and I think it was 1988 when Bobby Allison got in a crash at Talladega, smacked into the catch fence, and pieces of the car actually went into the stands. And that actually happened in 2009 too, but not to the extent of Bobby Allison's crash. His car literally almost went into the stands, and so they had to slow those race cars down. And that's exactly what they did. And so that's the kind of racing you're left with. And the racing has evolved, and the drivers and teams have figured out different ways to do it, to where the packs are even bigger and more dangerous than even they used to be. And it's really, really very random, and has very little to do with driver talent or how good the car is to who wins those races now. It's sort of right place, right time.
Well, last point on Dale Earnhardt Jr., what would be his advantage of even coming back? You said he has 2 concussions. The season is winding down. Is this some kind of contractual thing?
Well, I mean, I don't know where in his contract it states, how he gets paid if there's an injury or not. I don't think the money is the issue. I think a race car driver wants to be in the car. A lot of people speculated when I was up in Charlotte 2 weeks ago. People I talked to were all saying that they thought that he should just go ahead and shut it down for the season. You're not going to win the championship, just shut it down. But I think that really his sponsors, Amp Energy and Mountain Dew, and Amp Energy Diet Mountain Dew and National Guard, they're all going to want their main guy being in the race car. Though Regan Smith, his fill-in driver, has done a good job. It's just, I guess he just wants to be back in the race car. And if I were him, maybe I'd take it easy. But if they say he's healed up, why not go back racing again? It's kind of an either-or situation, and I think he's going to try to get back in the car as fast as he can.
Well, real quickly, we have about 30 seconds left. Kansas City Speedway yesterday, Matt Kenseth wins. Jimmy Johnson still in second. Brad Keselowski still in first on the point standing. 4 races to go. Who's still your favorite?
It's tough to say. Jimmy Johnson stayed. He was 7 points behind Keselowski entering the race. He stays 7 points out, and he managed to wreck his race car and still get a respectable top 10, I believe it was, finish in that race, because his crew did a wonderful job repairing his race car on pit road, and he was still able to pass cars even though the whole rear end of his car was messed up. So that was an incredible performance by the 48 team. But again, the 48 team is going to have a really good week and finish in front of Keselowski, which it did last week, didn't do this week. So it's really a toss-up to me between the 48 and the 2. I don't think Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer quite have enough in them to pass those guys.
All right, Brad, Fireball Turnbull, thank you for calling in. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Sassy!
This week's episode, Rattlesnake at the Pond.
Oh, Johnny, skipping rocks at the pond sure is fun. Hey, look, a moving stick. That ain't a stick. That's a rattlesnake. Sassy, we're in danger. Good idea, Sassy. Go get Mr. Gunderson. You will in a second, but first you'd like to tell us something we may not know about animal shelters in the United States? It's getting close, Sassy! Approximately 8 million pets enter shelters each year? The majority of which are in shelters because of owner-related issues that the animals have no control over? Sassy the rattlesnake! Save us, Sassy! What, Sassy? You wish you were videotaping this? Sassy!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Birthday, it's your birthday. If I die, carry me inside the Louis style. They ask me what I do and who I do it for, and how I come up with this up in the studio. All I want for my birthday is a big booty girl. All I want for my birthday is a big booty girl.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. We're live from Magic City.
I want to know if we can ever find a better birthday song.
I mean, this is what he, I let him play that so y'all can see what I'm working with. As I said in the show's previous, 888-926, because this is the birthday song.
7562. Right.
Music been around since the Caveman, and this is the only birthday song he can find.
Yeah.
And he's still playing it while I'm talking.
Sure.
And although it's not appropriate for radio, in its proper place, this song can be quite inspirational.
Let me see how inspired. Let me get a little more taste of why this would inspire me to do anything. Go ahead.
It's not meant to inspire you. It's meant to inspire her to do what it is she does. It's a script club.
You're going to be on that other side of the glass, and we're going to be reading that for you in a second.
But we needed somebody to understand.
Come back over here.
It's a script.
At least we have one of the three of us that understand.
Come back to the on-air team and get off the producer team.
Okay. Now take it back. That's you can take it back down. There you go. Take it on down some more. Take it almost where I don't even hear it. No, it ain't even low enough.
How about off?
There we go.
If you saw the video, you'd understand.
Oh, is there a video to it?
You went back on the other side of the glass again.
There is a video to this? You mean I need to punch some buttons on this computer?
Listen, now, please let me be clear.
Okay.
I'm not promoting the educational value of this song because there is no educational value to the song. But the entertainment value of the video is quite. I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm not.
Take control, Sports Jock. Shut it down.
Well, I was going to check the video.
Yeah, pull the video.
You saying don't pull it up.
Pull the video up. Talking about graphics. If you think the graphics in the NFL are nice,
this is
these graphics
very detailed,
and they're self-explanatory.
You're probably gonna step into porn and you're gonna have to erase your cookies all on your computer because you don't want to be
cookies. She said cookies.
Erase the whole memory. You just have to go to Apple.
History clear.
Stand in that 9-hour line.
Absolutely.
But we are in the birthday segment. I don't know if that song had said anything about what segment we were in.
It bitch said all I want for my birthday is that big booty girl. That's what it said.
Big booty.
That's
girl.
what it said.
I think that's pretty thoughtful. You don't ask anybody to sign up for a birthday registry, or there's no going out and fighting crowds in the mall.
I hope it ain't Terry Graham feeding that dog.
Yeah, I was about to say she
might be a big booty girl, and then she show up with
a
that
dog attached to her chest.
Lady Tegan,
hey,
we're in the birthday segment. Let's get to some birthday.
Close my eyes and I'm gonna disappear.
Speaking of someone who's had a lot of birthdays, Angela Lansbury.
Murder She Wrote.
87 years old. A lot of people have been murdered in those 87 years.
Wait a minute, she's only 87?
87
I mean,
years
Murder
old.
She Wrote was on back in the, early 90s?
Even
late 90s?
Maybe late 80s.
Late 80s, yeah. and she was like 91 then, right?
Something like that.
She's been old forever.
Yes, she has. 87 years old, Angela Lansbury. Chuck Berry, 86, not too far behind.
I thought we said Chuck was 86 2 weeks ago.
Chuck Berry.
He's going to age every 2 weeks.
Suzanne Summers, 66 years old.
Die Master.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. Want to take a guess at that?
632
Jean-Claude
Van Damme. He is
72.
62.
52.
52.
52. He was always a little younger than Arnold. He took over from Sylvester Stallone. He was the 80s action hero guy.
I thought he was just older and looked good, but he just looked good because he ain't
I was
old.
only off by 20 years.
Viggo Mortensen is 54. That's the guy from The Lord of the Rings. Big time Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen.
That nobody really knows outside of the character that he plays.
Yeah.
If you name his character, then they go, oh, that dude.
Yeah. Tim Robbins, 54 years old. Susan Sarandon, one of the first Cougars.
Wow.
She married Tim. He was like 12 and she was 30. John Mayer is 35 years old. Zac Efron had his 25th birthday.
I love him.
Is he on that show you talking about, Magical Christmas?
No, started at the one with High School Musical, started music. Let's go home and watch them musicals, shouted.
That's exactly what
Let her up and watch them musicals.
Zac Efron was on that show.
He was the star of High School Musical.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
Okay.
He is. He reminds me of like the little cat from Friends who was so popular. What's his name? Whatever. But
Matt LeBlanc?
No, not Matt
Cat
LeBlanc.
from Friends.
He has that same
David Schwimmer?
No, the
Joey?
main guy.
There was a main guy on Friends? I thought they all equally shared.
You know the one who has his new show now where he's a comedian in the. Just let it go. My brain is no good.
Joey?
I'm doing trivia, and this ain't the trivia.
Joey, I'm saying that was Matt.
Musician Tom Petty is 62.
Man, my brain.
Esperanza Spalding is 28. Neo is 33.
Ooh.
And the
Neo 33 would be
SNOOP DOGG.
But Shizzle Mondizzle
had his 41st birthday.
My 45th. I had my 45th, my dizzle.
Matthew Perry.
He has a new show
I said
up.
Matthew Perry, didn't I?
Oh, no,
Oh,
you
you
didn't
said
say
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt
you said
LeBlanc.
Matt
Okay, the
LeBlanc.
other dude.
It's Matthew Perry that this
Okay.
guy reminded. He has that same appeal.
He has that show Go On
Yes.
now.
Zac Efron and Matthew Perry don't have
Are
nothing in common.
Yeah, that's
He
why
has the
we.
And I'm
same
not even a
appeal.
woman.
It not. I mean, it's physically. I mean, acting wise, he has the
Oh,
same
acting
appeal.
wise. Okay.
Yes.
We'll be right back. More of the Sports Talk Show right after this.
As I was motivating over the hill, I saw Maybelline in a coupe de ville. A Cadillac rolling on an open road, nothing out of run my
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hey, Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions,
How high can you jump?
but you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
With the gold fleet collar, dipping in my blue Impala. Top dollar with the gold fleet collar, dipping in my blue Impala. Yeah, it's like forward to the 5, to the 6, and to the 7. I once was told that all dogs go to heaven. Well, how you been, where you been, and what it look like? My game trump.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Candy, and as I said when we started the show today, the NBA starts next Tuesday. The Boston Celtics will be visiting the world champion Heat next Tuesday to start this Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett rivalry, I guess you want to call it. October 30th, the NBA is kicking off. It seems like the season just ended. Maybe it was the Olympics that made it seem like it just ended. You don't see that as a battle?
No, I'm just imagining right now Ray Allen's mom is probably gonna call Kevin Garnett like, when you come down here, don't come down here with that foolishness now, because Ray just trying to do what's best for his career.
Yeah, we ain't gonna give him that mama's boy.
I wasn't gonna go there.
But the NBA, once again, in its foolery, I don't know where somebody needs to retire David Stern, but now they can't flop. Mm-hmm. That's a new rule. Right. The other rule now is there is no pregame. You can't do all that pregame slapping and dancing. They took the pregame out from the time
There's
that
like a time limit.
Yeah, they have 90 seconds now between the time introductions is over. The jump ball. If you're in violation, it's going to be a technical foul. So.
Armageddon's on its way.
So no more LeBron powder in the hand, throw
powder,
it up.
No more the handshakes and the different skits. That
everything is going to be boring.
No more Baron Davis licking his tongue out to Deron Williams, to Darren Williams, and them making Google eyes, and no more Magic and Isaiah kissing in the mouth before the game.
So this is what I want to ask you too, because I go to a lot of NBA games. I watch a lot. Who's the person complaining? I don't get, you usually change a rule because the masses say, well, we don't like that anymore. Mm-hmm. Isn't that part of the whole theatrical part of the sport? A little bit of the LeBron. Those people, listen, when LeBron, whether you hate LeBron or not, when he put that powder on his hand, those people line up for some of that to fall on them. Mm-hmm. You don't see those people move out those seats. When he does that, they sit right there and they hold their chests out like, let some of that powder, because that's their story. They're going to go home and call their boy and say, man, LeBron got some of that powder on me. Didn't you see me on TV? You know, people like that little, what they kick or dance or whatever they're doing. People do enjoy that aspect of the game.
What does it add to the game, though? Does it add anything to the game? Other than the
flair, the showmanship.
I mean, because now, and I guess I'm asking because just earlier we were talking about how people like Cam Newton and my Jets and other people are so busy involved in theatrics that they can't focus on playing the game, and they always act like it's about that one little moment.
Cam Newton does that during the game.
Okay, you're saying this
I'm
is
saying
before
the game.
Okay.
If you want to be, when they call your name and the smoke rises and you want to come out and you want to do a somersault, that's okay. That is whatever. Ray Lewis and his dance, people love that. It gets the fans going. It gets the crowd excited. You know, it even gets the opposing person. Yeah, we're going to knock that smug off your face.
Right.
We're going to, you know, you even see guys when they get their touchdowns or something, they'll diss Victor Cruz. They'll do his dance and then tell you, no, we ain't doing that up in here. It's just a little bit, I'm saying before the game,
the party started,
is a little different. Now, during the game, those kind of antics can totally be dismissed.
Okay.
But before the game, your little ritual, Dwayne Wade runs, he jumps, he grabs the rim, he does a couple of pull-ups. You'll see Tim Duncan, who's the quietest person in the league. He goes and gets the ball from the referee. He hugs the ball. You'll see him like 3 times. Everybody has their little thing.
Meta World Peace bites the opposing players.
Yeah.
I mean, you can believe he'd do it. You can believe he'd do
it's
something
one thing, but I just see how the NBA is trying to, I don't know what their mission is with their sport.
They're trying to turn it into golf and tennis.
Do you think they're trying to rein in some same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. You want all of this excitement and you want all of these people to flock around these superstars, but then some of these superstars start behaving in ways like they're bigger than the game, and it's distracting. It becomes distracting to the league. It becomes a liability for the league and the fans and the team. Do you think they're trying to rein some of that in?
Well, this is the same thing we were talking about with Roger Goodell. So you don't like what I do, but then you go put it on the video game. You put it on NBA 2012. If you go on there and check, you can hit LeBron with the powder. You selling the same stuff that you're saying you're getting rid of. So obviously this has a draw to somebody, and it's one thing to tell the teams in the locker room past the mandate round, hey guys, we're gonna need to speed it up. But to make a national announcement and make it a rule where you get a technical foul.
Do you think it's a politically correct thing where, since women have gotten involved in a lot of this stuff, when LeBron throws his powder, in the air, he makes other players feel inferior, and we want everyone to have a spirit of teamwork and friendship. So please don't make anyone feel uncomfortable.
You can't, Kenny. You cannot blame everything on women.
You can.
You are really starting to sound.
Listen, anything that ever has
crazy.
happened wrong in the world, trace it back, and 6 degrees of separation, a woman was involved.
Helena
Troy, bam. Eve, bam.
Listen, there only are men and women. It's going to either be us or y'all at all times.
Yes,
Get out of here.
So it's y'all.
Anyway.
Rihanna.
There it is.
There
it is.
Sports Jock, listen.
Don't go along with him today.
Don't go along with him today, because he got issues. He got issues. We saw it started off with that bad whistling.
I guess my biggest point, my biggest point on this issue is merely these are the rules you're changing. Right. You're talking about you're trying to speed the game up. How about calling a few less fouls? How about having the game stop going to 9-minute commercial breaks? You know that, but you know that's what happens. It's like all day I want to go to commercial.
How about eliminating that whole boring All-Star weekend
that nobody really watches
and save that time? How about that?
So no more pregame. So you better hurry up, LeBron, and get your powder in your hand. I used to like the powder in there.
I like some of it. I do. I think it's exciting, and it brings on.
I like the punching players.
Michael
in the
Jordan
face.
wouldn't have the time to get to his chewing gum.
I like the choking the coaches.
We'll be back after this.
Pictures of last night ended up
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Before we talk a little more NBA, I have to tell you this story because I laughed. You know how I don't try to laugh at things. I try to stay in the middle. But this Ronald Chappelle guy, he received 5 years for throwing urine and feces on the sheriffs that came to arrest him. That's what they gave him the time for. But he had a criminal record beforehand, but with that criminal record and doing that. But when they came to arrest him, they originally came on the scene because he had choked his mom with an extension cord. And I don't know why when I read this, I just started laughing. And you know when something funny is when you're sitting in a room by yourself and you realize you are laughing and then you tell yourself, I'm going to stop laughing at this. But then you start laughing again and this is funny because I kept picturing, I don't know why, this man choking his mom with this extension cord.
Think of all the mothers that have whipped their children with extension cords. It was payback.
And it was just funny. I don't know why it was funny, but he is in prison. He poured some wax. I don't know where he had some hot wax from.
Now,
he poured some hot wax on him.
Choking him.
She dropped the charges.
Well, I'm not understanding.
She dropped the charges on him, though.
The police showed up to arrest him, and he throws urine and feces on him. Did he prepare for their arrival? I mean, you just got urine and feces laying around, Ronald? I mean, that's what I'm saying. How did that happen? How did you just, hey, hold on a minute. Did they allow him to go get it?
Listen, man, if a man can
choke his mama with an extension cord
and pour wax on her, he's very creative. So he might have had some feces and stuff in a bottle somewhere waiting.
Wow. And you want to talk about women and this cat out here.
I mean, what did she do?
But she dropped the charges.
What did she do?
What did she do?
But hold on.
Right into that.
But why would she drop the charges?
Because she loves her child.
Ain't that much love.
That's terrible.
So you telling me you can love beyond choking me with an extension cord?
Yeah.
You see me on the back of your mom just choking.
Women stay with men all the time after they have been, beaten and attacked.
No, but between a man and a woman, that's called sex. Choking with an extension cord.
And it costs extra.
It costs a little extra on the end.
It does. That extension cord stuff is extra.
First of all, y'all said that prostitution is called paying for marriage, basically. In other words, prostitution, whatever.
I never used the word prostitution.
Never used that word.
Okay.
I don't know if I said prostitution this whole 3-hour show.
And never said that. I never said that.
Okay, so now we're Romney and Obama.
I never used the word prostitution.
Okay. We're Romney and Obama now.
And because I'm on probation, I'm legally not permitted to use that word.
You basically alluded to the fact that you pay for your wife in marriage, basically in the same form.
But I never used the word prostitution.
Would for hiring a woman for her services, which equals prostitution.
Prostitution means that I went to a specific place to pick you up. Your wife is at home when you get there from work, right?
You still alluded to the same type of thing, and now y'all trying to allude
and
to
prostitution.
the fact
After she's done, she has to leave. Yeah, wife just sits around.
You pay him to go.
Y'all can't stay on task. This is terrible.
That is the thing. You pay them to go.
Yeah, that's what prostitution is all about. Paying
Is this
them
how
to
you were
leave.
laughing about the woman getting choked?
Oh no, I was laughing hard about that because I kept thinking this mama was getting choked by this man.
Baby, stop
She was
it!
trying to convince him to
Mama
stop.
blacking out. Quit now. You playing too rough. Mama can't breathe, baby. Let mama go. Let me. Sugar.
Put the piss down.
And that's the part I kept thinking about.
Mama
Her
eyes
pleading.
rolling back in her head, honey.
Her pleading for him to stop was the part I kept
Let me
laughing
make you a
about.
sandwich, baby. Let me just make you a sandwich.
I did see reports that Lamar Odom is getting divorced. Did you see that? He's divorcing Chloe, supposedly.
Oh, let me check my blogs.
Did you get any of that?
Wait, you didn't know that information?
Well, they got married after 2 weeks of dating.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm
You figured it
just
was gonna
surprised
end
Lady
at some
T didn't
point.
bring that in as, the top story today.
You know what? I told you I came in here raggedy and crazy. So
Raggedy
I did.
and crazy.
Raggedy
I'm
and
gonna check
crazy.
my blogs right now because I still got 15 minutes.
I'm surprised they stayed married that long.
Yeah, that's what I said after 2 weeks of dating. I'm quite sure he.
Really? I mean, I really thought they might have been meant to be. They stayed together for a very long
Listen,
time. I'm surprised.
any man that is married to the daughter of Kris Jenner is not going to stay around long. That's just my opinion.
No, any
I can't
man
believe he'd
married
even. I can't
to,
even
to a trick like that.
I'm saying I can't
it's
imagine
just a
he
trick.
even put himself in that family.
Them Kardashian people are tricks. They tricks.
Yeah, I just thought I would report that. And the bad producer did give me something about another Stephon Marbury scandal about sleeping with his. But that's what I was like when I read it.
Right.
He was like, "You want to report on that?" I'm thinking this was relevant like 8 years ago. But Stephon cheating on his wife, I thought that was like part of what he did. He slept with the chef. Is that correct? His personal chef, and tried to pay her off like $900,000 to keep some hush money, and only gave her $600,000.
And then she
took him to court for the other $300,000.
Just like a female.
It sounds like something Stephon Marbury would end up in.
Yeah, that's
tried to
him.
shortchange on the hot hush money.
That's
you
him.
know,
That's
how
him.
did you come up with $900,000?
That's what I want to say.
Isn't it like, don't you go in increments of like, well, I'll give you $500,000, or I'll give you $750,000?
I mean, what happened?
Does he still have money like that?
What happened to choking her with an extension cord? You know what I'm saying? If it's good enough for your mama, it's got to be good enough for your side piece.
Yeah, Dez Bryant tried it.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
and got
you
away
know.
with it. Mama gonna drop the charges anyway. Look at Lady T looking
I'm
up.
looking and it's not
Stephon
here.
Marbury
You need to
didn't
look
even
up
try
that
and
video.
get him arrested.
I need to see that video
Get the
before we
video
go off
for-
air. But we're going to go to break. We come back with more of the Sports Jock Show after this. There was a Dwight Howard sighting last night, too, for the Lakers. He's back. Superman in the building.
There it is.
Don't like a snitch. That's that shit I don't like.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
In times like these, strangers at your door should be treated cautiously, but unwelcome strangers in your home can be your worst nightmare. Home invasion is a form of armed robbery where criminals break into homes through unlocked or open doors and windows. They even trick people into opening their doors to confront victims face to face. They can be after money and valuables, threaten personal assault, or take members of the family captive. But you can be proactive against these disturbing attacks. Learn how to protect yourself against home invasions. Never open the door to strangers. Secure your home with high-security locks and quality door and window hardware. Consider a home security system and even a dog. It's also a good idea to devise an action plan for your family in case intruders ever do enter your home. To learn more about how to keep your home safe from intruders, visit ncpc.org. That's ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
When crime prevention is your life, your days don't stay quiet for long. What did I tell you? My name? McGruff the Crime Dog. I wear a trench coat.
McGruff, I need help.
That was a concerned citizen. And boy, did she sound concerned.
I'm very concerned.
What did I tell you?
Someone took out a loan in my name. They're pretending to be me and spending my money. I can't understand.
It's called
how
identity
this can
theft,
happen.
and it's growing fast. Safeguard your personal information, like your social security, credit card, or bank account numbers, on the phone online, even around the house, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org. Take it from McGruff. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, back to the sports jock, Wayne Gandy.
The truth is, he will throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy, and when you hear the sounds of the ocean, that means that the Sports Jock Show is nearing its end.
Are you watching that video as you're coming back from the break?
Before I go,
I see you watching it too, Lady T.
It is so trifling.
Hold on. We got to get some business out of the way. Let me thank Han Vance for helping us out with the college football report. Miss Yolanda Jackson for stopping in and helping us talk about breast cancer. Remember, October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we'd like to thank our main man, Doug Fireball Turnbull, for always glad to talk to Fireball about NASCAR. $2.4 billion Fox gave NASCAR to show their races just for the Daytona 500. And 13 races. That's a lot of cash. I am watching this video.
The 2 Chainz birthday song.
The 2 Chainz birthday song. All I could, that was a very small house to have about 40 people in.
Sure.
That's all I kept thinking. I couldn't get around to the big booty girls.
They got the family over here with the kids while the big booty girls are over there. That's just, it was too much action.
But that is a lot going on.
What is she doing right here? Do you see the girl on the street with the shoes? Good Lord.
Yeah, this is why I'm glad I don't even know where to find this kind of stuff, Big Kenny. But we do have to
God bless the arts.
One thing, one more PSA before I go. We got to make these NFL picks. Guard your cell phone. They're reporting that like half the thefts in San Francisco have been cell phones. In New York, like 30-40%. It's a big thing going to LA. It's like 25%. People are stealing cell phones. I don't know what they're doing with them.
Reselling them.
Oh, is that what you do with them? I don't know if you're trying to steal the data and extort people. Like they try to extort.
Super smart you are.
They're trying to enact a federal law now where all of these cell phone carriers, once a phone is stolen and reported stolen, it can't be ever used again. So they because now you can steal a phone and tonight I could be on that stolen phone using it. And they're saying if they eliminate the ability of thieves to resell the phone, then the thefts would not occur.
So you don't have that app like I remember like 2 weeks ago we reported the guy found his iPad with the iTheft app.
With the
they don't have that on like phones.
Yeah, I mean
they do.
I'm sure they do
on iPhones.
Yeah.
You can like track my phone, search my phone. And so that's the great thing about it, because eventually you can keep tracking the phone and eventually find it for Apple products. But I guess if you knew how to undo that, I mean, it really wouldn't work. But I agree. I think it should be a thing where I can't just walk in and turn on. Like if you gave me your old iPhone, because I know you bought the new iPhone.
No, I had a flip phone before I had this.
Okay. But when you get ready to buy that new iPhone, you can give me that one.
No, this has the brake. I don't know how to operate this. What I need with the newer one.
Either way, if you give me your old iPhone, I can walk right in and turn it on. And the gift with that is that you don't have to sign contracts. So if you want to buy that phone straight up, it's like $650. But if you want to buy it for $199, then you got to pay a 2-year contract. So it's worth it to steal somebody's phone.
I knew to bring this.
Contract.
I knew to bring this to 2 people from Chicago.
Yeah, because you know it's one thing we know is theft.
Y'all know all the rules of the crime.
Theft and fraud. Yeah, we got that covered.
Well, let's make these picks. We missed the picks last week, Lady T, because you were not here.
Oh, okay.
But we are back on track real quick. Tonight's action, as I said earlier, Monday Night Football, Lions, Bears.
The Bears.
I'm going to go with the Bears as well. Next Sunday, Week 8's action. There was a faint voice in the background. I can't remember what he just said. But
it doesn't matter.
Vikings, Bucks.
Bucks.
With the Vikings. Dolphins, Jets.
Jets.
With the Fins, Redskins, Steelers. I'm gonna go with Ben.
I'm gonna go with the Skin.
Raiders, Chiefs. No one cares. I'm not even gonna waste my time. I'm not care about that game. Giants, Cowboys.
Giants.
I'm gonna go with
anybody playing the Cowboys.
Anybody going against the Cowboys.
I'm going with them.
Patriots, Rams. Patriots. Saints, Broncos. Very intriguing matchup next Sunday night.
I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Breeze gonna pull it off.
It's gonna be a long game because it's gonna be a lot of passes. And the Falcons, who did not play yesterday, back in action next week against the Eagles.
Falcons. They still got a winning record, right?
Yes. That sounds so much like a woman.
No, I mean like
they still in the NFL, huh?
They haven't lost a game yet, right?
Yeah, they didn't play yesterday.
Right,
so
they had a bye, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You talked about the long game with the Saints and the Broncos. There was a report with people like Earl Campbell and other workhorse running backs that said that's non-existent in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, they don't have that kind of guys.
That's
all by committee.
And Jamal Lewis said that last week, that it's all
by committee. Yeah. But when you hear the sounds of the ocean, it means that the sports jock gets to vent. And this week, as Auburn has been losing, a lot of people have been asking me, should Auburn go and hire the ex-coach from Arkansas that was caught on the motorcycle with his mistress? I should just send y'all old copies of this show when you ask me crazy questions like that. I can't stand that man. He's on my short list of people that I would shoot if he would say anything to me, to the point I don't even say his name. Why would you ask me, should they hire a man who has left programs in shambles to go to a team that is in shambles? Maybe you should just get Lou Holtz from ESPN. He's about 85. Maybe he can do the job. Come on, man. So for all you people that asked me that the last 5 days,
walk the plank.
For Lady T, the funny man, Big Kenny, the sports jock, look at the bad producer just cannot do his job. We'll be back next Monday with more of the Sports Jock Show.
Some of us.
Thank y'all for listening and having a good afternoon.
Peace.
I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring